All right. Moving on to topic 2. We're talking about a little WandaVision now. A little WandaVision episode 3 and 4. So if you guys have not done your homework and you haven't watched WandaVision yet, now is your time to leave. Because we're talking full spoilers, full thoughts, everything. How I'm going to be talking about the episodes is I'm going to go one episode at a time and just literally talk about the notes I wrote down as I was watching each of these. And my thoughts there. Obviously, threes will be a little disjointed because some of those things do get solved in 4 or at least kind of get expanded on. So, but yeah, if you haven't, like I said, watch 3 and 4, full spoilers are starting now. So leave, come back, watch this topic. We'd love to have you. And remember, we're going to be keeping to talk about these episodes each and every podcast, I guess, going forward until the show ends. So 2 more. And then we got a new show to watch. So yeah, I'm going to just talk about like I said, my bullet points, my notes I was taking as I was watching the episodes. Obviously, episode 3 I might be a little hazy on because that was last week. And episode 4 is pretty fresh in my mind, saying I only watched it, let's see, 12 hours ago. So, in general, episode 3 was losing you. Episode 4 brought it back. Yeah, I agree with episode 4, like, getting people more invested, and I think they did a smart thing with that, with how they told that story. But yeah, going in episode 3, so we had another TV-esque episode. So we had a new intro to the show. They had a new intro, how they presented it, almost Brady Bunch-esque. So that was cool. So yes, this episode focuses on the pregnancy and how it's all of a sudden and it's going super duper fast. I thought it was interesting that Vision questions the magic pregnancy. Like, he is very cognizant. Is that the right word? He's very aware that, like, this is out of place. And that's going to roll into some of my other points as we're going forward. But I just thought that was interesting. The neighbors, a lot of interesting things going on with the neighbors. But the first note I had was Herb, I think his name is. He's cutting his hedges, but he goes into the brick wall, and then he kind of stares off into space when Vision brings it up. So I thought that was odd. We got the confirmed twins. Without word. I'm wondering what. Okay. I remember what this was. Okay. So obviously throughout this episode, they were kind of like, oh, we're having the one boy. I wrote down confirmed twins without word because in the nursery section, when they're building the furniture, I'm pretty sure there were 2 cribs. One was already built, and then Wanda was building the second one. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, you guys already know you're having twins, but you haven't said anything about it. Yes, Jeff, the 70 settings this time. Yep, so full color. Still had the box dimensions, obviously. So another note I made was just Vision is learning. He's kind of seeing more of the, through the veil of shadows, or however you say it. I thought it was a changing table. I don't know. It might have been. I could have swore it was a second one. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, Brady Bunch-esque, very much so. There was a reset to the world that wasn't Wanda's control. So we've talked about it with the beekeeper and the choking, I think it was. No, it wasn't the choking. It was something. Definitely the beekeeper. How she's kind of like said no and reset the world. I guess something had occurred where the world fixed itself, but she didn't do it. I should have wrote more clear notes. I was kind of writing these down fast because I was writing them down as I'm watching the show. So I'm like, ugh. Still have one of those box TVs. Nice. Dial on the channel buttons on it. There you go. We got another Hydra product during the commercial. I noticed Geraldine had that sword necklace very early on. You could see it swinging. I think it was maybe it was when Wanda went into labor, it kind of swung out of her collar. And I was like, oh, obviously before Wanda points it out later. But I noticed that small towns hard to escape. Not sure what that's referring to. Well, I have a guess of what that's referring to. Episode 4 will kind of lead into that a little bit more. But I guess people can't leave. Oh, yeah. We had the whole doctor storyline. How the doctor was going to go on vacation, but his car broke down and stuff. Doc kept going. Thank you, Jeff. He kept trying to go on his vacation. Yeah, so the town is hard to leave, I guess. Which obviously, like I said, in episode 4, we'll kind of get more information about that. We have the neighbors secretly chatting while Vision has gone out to get the doctor and is out in the front lawn. They're like having a secret chat amongst themselves. I don't remember the woman's name, the original best friend neighbor. And then obviously Herb or whatever his name is. So they're kind of talking to themselves, but then they also seem very like sympathetic to Vision and almost allude to being actors, it seemed, which leads to a big question mark in episode 4 that I'll talk about. But like, I don't know, that was odd to me. Agnes, thank you. So yeah, obviously got the trigger for Scarlet Witch with Geraldine bringing up Pietro and Ultron, which totally came out of nowhere. Of like, wait a minute, why are we talking about real life events? Like, why did Geraldine just bring this up out of nowhere? But then we get that breaking of reality. She gets kicked out. I had Westview as a question mark here because I had no idea where that was. She was singing Sokovian, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, she's from there. Which she's mentioned. She mentioned that in episode 1 too, the boss and the wife, that she was from there. The whole European greeting joke, sitcom and stuff. So yeah, kicked out to Westview. We went back to full screen, so I like how they're playing with the aspect ratio to kind of show you this is real, this is the fake world. You know, it's a simple thing, but I like how they're playing with that. So the Sokovian song reminded Monica of what happened to IE Ultron. Okay, that could be the trigger. Fair enough. I wasn't sure what caused it, but I can understand that. And then, yeah, she got kicked out of the dream world. And then, obviously, we see all this cop stuff happening around her when she gets kicked out, which we'll get a lot of episodes in episode 4. So let's talk about that one, especially because it's more fresh in my mind. I feel like I can put more detail into it. So very, very interesting cold open. It was weird she didn't flip out with Wanda being pregnant. Yeah, a lot of them didn't. They were like saying they were going to keep it secret, and then she's just like, oh, you're pregnant. Yeah, like out of nowhere. So maybe that was just like Wanda's, I don't know if Wanda was in control of that, being able to like shut that down and being like, oh no, this is normal, like kind of thing. Tell her that or have her believe that. So yeah, very interesting cold open in episode 4. We got more of the dusting, the end game events. 3 pages of notes. Oh boy, Jeff's ready. Jeff has done his homework and some extra credit. So yeah, we get more Endgame, Infinity War. Obviously repercussions with Monica, Captain Marvel's niece, best friend's daughter, being dusted. Unfortunately, her mom passed of cancer, which is rough, while she was dusted. And I had seen very in passing, like I've tried my best not to look up theories or like other websites like, oh, this is an Easter egg for this. Oh, this is that. I just kind of wanted to go into this as blind as possible and kind of try and piece it together myself, or obviously in these conversations with you guys of like what's going on. But there was people talking about how they thought Geraldine was this character, which obviously was confirmed. So that's cool that it's going to tie in to at least that, of Captain Marvel. We got Sword confirmed, obviously, with the organization, the acronym, all that stuff. A lot of missing people reported along with Westview. That's how it started. Excuse me. Funny, based on the previous 3, Mom and I were trying to guess which 80s sitcom they would use in 4, and then the story changed. I mean, I'm sure it's going to go back and revert to it. There are 8 episodes so far, so obviously this being episode 4, if it's going to go to current day, let's see, we got 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. So, you know, that would lead up to current day, obviously being the 20s. And that's if they do that too. Like, I don't know if they will, but yeah, I assume they would have to obviously break out of the world at some point. I'm very glad they did, because obviously it answers a lot of questions and makes it a little bit more interesting. Because it's not just this question mark over your head. You're getting a little explanation of like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. No, I didn't watch the teaser. If there's anything at the end credits, I usually don't. To be honest, I'll see the credits. I'll watch it up till like the black screen with the white font. And I'll stop. So no, I did not watch that. So yeah, I talked about the missing person report. Apparently started this whole thing at Westview. Town was developed out of nowhere, which I thought was interesting how it's an actual thing. It's not just like broken into, it's just not in her head. It's this actual physical place. Dad liked a lot to do that. I'm sorry, did what aspect? Let's see. There's a barrier around town. Not a very good barrier, but it's a barrier around it. The real town is like a single road, couple of houses. Wanda's Westview is way more suburban. Oh, how they tied things in. Yeah. It happened eventually. But yeah, it's nice that we got this episode that's out of the world. Like, once again, that explains or at least tries to make sense or like reveal how this is something weird, I guess. Just got something on the barrier. That's good. But yeah, it seems like obviously the barrier is very easy to break into. So I don't know how protective that really is, but I mean, obviously going into it causes something for you to cause your memories to go or whatever. They did say it was shaped like a hexagon. I'm not sure. Oh, no. AIM's not a hexagon. AIM's an octagon, isn't it? In the comics, it's called Hex Magic. Oh, okay. Just a little joke there. Okay. All right. That's a good one. So we get a returning character who we haven't seen since Thor: The Dark World. We got Kat Denning back as the scientist, which, you know, was a nice surprise. Unfortunately, I had to get spoiled by it on Twitter. And I was like, oh, well, all right. So cool to see her back. We learned that she is the one that is watching these broadcasts that we got hinted in at, episode 1. So we got that. Was Agent Wu from something else? Was he from Ant-Man? Because I didn't put that together now. Okay. I didn't put that together when I was watching it. I just thought it was a new character. But okay. I got a tie in there too. Which, Jersey? Okay, so that's weird. That's weird because... Wait a minute. He did say he was from California originally. He did say that because I was going to be like, well, this is in Jersey. How does that make sense? But I do remember he said he was from California originally. Okay, that's cool. So it ties that in too. Like, well, how it goes and changes. So yeah. So anyways, like I said, we get Kat Denning confirmed as the person who's monitoring these episodes, like we got hinted at in episode 1 that somebody was doing. We got a time frame for the show now. Jersey just post the snap, right? Or post Endgame, unless I missed another detail there, which I might have. I wouldn't put it past me. This is like 2 or 3 weeks after Stark's death. Oh, really? Did they put that time frame on it? Months before Far From Home. Oh, wow. I definitely missed that. Whoops. So cool to see her in there. We get to see Monica's first day back at work. True. Let's see. The beekeeper being an illusion. Instead, it wasn't the radiation suit. They obviously made it a more neighborhood-friendly thing. Question mark about him. Like, obviously, we see Monica get kicked out, right? When Wanda freaks out. What happens to the beekeeper? Did she kill him? Or, because we don't, at least from what we've seen, nobody's gone and recovered him like they have Monica when she got kicked out. He's dead. He could be dead. So that was just, I like the explanation for that. Something that I just thought, she rewound time and that's what it looked like. So presumably he's crawling around the tunnel. Still in there? Okay. But that was a whole, as of time or show canon, that was a whole episode ago. So like, wouldn't he have shown up already by now? Somewhere else? In another episode? In the 70s one? In episode 3? How does time work inside the field? I guess. Because I would think so. Because, when did he start crawling? When did they send him down? I think that was after. It was before Kat realized it was a TV show. I don't know how long. It seemed like a long way to travel, but would that take him? Time's obviously going faster in the bubble than it is outside the bubble. At least from what I can tell. So I think it's logical that an episode would have passed while he was crawling. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird where the fuck this guy is. Probably not that important. So yeah, as I talked about with episode 3, the secret conversation between Agnes and Herb. I was thinking that they were agents along with Geraldine, or like these actors per se, just to kind of help Wanda maybe eventually get back to reality, or just monitor Wanda or whatever was going on with that situation. So learning that these are actual people, based on the the reports that Wu and Kat Dennings' character had found of the missing persons reports. That was just like, it cleared my mind, I guess, up about that. I think it also adds for a bigger question of like what they were chatting about and how they were, So, yeah. No, Tarma, the topics are in the stream title. We're not talking about Apex. I did see it starts Tuesday. Looking forward to it. So yeah, I think it also leads to more questions of like why they're talking and why it's hush hush, I guess you could say, like secretive. So something's going on there, fishy. Let's see. I'm curious because I didn't really pay attention super duper much about like the missing persons reports. I wonder if any of those were Easter egg characters, like from the comics or whatever. I also was questioning if there's more episodes that Kat Dennings' character had seen that maybe we have not as the audience. Because when they did confirm that Monica was in there as Geraldine, that I don't remember that angle being shown to us, the audience, in those 3 episodes. But I could be wrong. So that's just a question. We got the camera changing again in the show. Another thing that Agnes, when they were identifying all the people, the only ones they didn't identify were Agnes and Dottie. Dottie. Which one's Dottie? There's a rumor about Agnes's character that people are talking about, how she ties in with Doctor Strange, and it's the assistant. We talked about it last time. I don't remember. We might have put Geraldine as that character, but there's still more talks that she is the sidekick to Doctor Strange, or like working with her. Emma Caulfield, that doesn't help me, unfortunately. So yeah, the camera changes in the show, and she was the head of the laser. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realize that she was not identified yet. Shattered the glass. Yeah. Episode 2, she shattered the glass. You mean the glass in her hand when the radio happened, which was nice too. We got an answer about the radio and how that worked. That worked, and obviously that was Agent Wu. That was cool. No, you're good. You're good. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I wonder with the well. Okay, this is just I'm throwing things at a wall right now. Just a thought in my head. With the Hydra ads, there's two thoughts of mine here. The thought is the Hydra ads are because Wanda and Pietro were technically experiments of Hydra. That's why they have their power. So is it like a over lingering thingy, that's going on? Or is this Dottie character, she part of Hydra? Random thoughts just popping in my head. But then it's like when she ignored the glass in her hand or the cut, like that's weird. So it's like, I think that kind of takes away from that theory. I don't know. So I think your theory was that Wanda was creating the scenario in her head to deal with things. Do you feel this? Do you still feel this, or has that changed? So I definitely think it's changed, because it's now Westview is this bubble dome area. So as I think I make more notes as, yeah, okay. So that we see the little bit more of the info with Geraldine and Wanda's clash. And we see the camera change that aspect ratio again, so you realize like, ooh, like, hey, this is real time or whatever. Like, I still think it's Wanda doing it. So I still think it's her. It's just now with the bubble, the Westview area going on. She's making a physical place for her to escape to, and with her hex powers, etc., like she's able to do this. So it's still for her own protection, her own sanity, her livelihood, I guess you could say, but it's a physical manifestation instead of just like she's in a coma somewhere thinking about this or whatever it is, so with obviously the Geraldine scene where we get a little bit more of an insight as their altercation, we see like she has to what's it called when you're watching? Oh, suspension of disbelief. She has to like reacclimate herself to that. We see when Vision comes back in, he's shown dead for a second, and she has to kind of shake that off because she obviously has that recent conversation that broke that suspension of disbelief. She has to get herself back into that mindset. So we see that. We see her fixing the house, like she's repairing this, Jesus Christ, building up those barriers again to like seclude herself and make this her safety blanket, if you will. So I still think it's her. It's just obviously that once again it's this physical area now instead of just mental. And I think that's why maybe obviously Sword is very intrigued about it now too, is because it is, there's this problem here. It's not just like, as we thought earlier with episode 1 and 2, it's like somebody experimenting on her. It's more of like, this is a real physical problem it's a weird mystery that's going on that we need to investigate type thing, if that makes sense. I'm still very confused. This was my last note. I'm still very confused on what is going on with Vision. Because Vision's dead. Question mark, as Agent Wu put it. Vision's dead. So the Vision in Westview should be an illusion of hers that she's putting in this world for herself, right? Like, once again, the safety blanket aspect. However, as the series goes on, we're seeing more question marks coming up in the show from Vision himself. He's like questioning reality, you know? He does stuff on his own too, which is fine. Like, she could just like have programmed it like, oh, like live this life, family life, whatever it is. But like he's questioning the reality that he lives in, which is confusing me. He's done it with the beekeeper. He's done it with the choking of the boss in a way. Thank you, Jeff. He's done it with the pregnancy. He's doing it with the neighbors. And then it seems like even at the end after Geraldine, he's still thinking about it. Which, yeah, like if he's an illusion of her psyche or manifest, like why does he have this free thought for that? Like Papa Griffey says he does stuff on his own, so like maybe it is a creation of Wanda, but maybe that's just an aspect like she didn't want to control because then he's more natural, or she didn't think about. He could be her reality to some extent in the realm of her alternate reality. Yeah, I don't know. That's my biggest like question mark of like, if this is her safe space, why is her safe space questioning its own reality, or like that something's wrong, if that makes sense? And I guess the same could go for the neighbors, Agnes and Herb. Like, why are they talking about something different? Like Monica was obviously entranced by this world, right? And then as Jeff mentioned, she got almost sleeper agent woken up in a way with the Sokovian song. Like, this is something from the real world. Whoop! I'm going to pull that and then ask this thing. But I don't think she would have asked that had that not happened, or had with Jeff bringing that up, it makes more sense why she had asked. But from what we know in episode 4, from what we knew before, I was thinking, oh yeah, she's an agent. Oops, sorry. She's an agent. She's undercover. She blew her cover for some reason, kind of thing. But as we see in episode 4, it seems when she went in, whoosh, you know, she was in this world, like a character, filled in a role or took a role, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Those are all the notes I had about episode 3 and 4. I'll agree. I think Papa Griff said it, or maybe Mr. G said it earlier, like 3 was 4 got you back in. And I think the reason for that is 4 answers a lot of questions. Oh, Jeff, I'm ready. Yeah, don't you go whenever you are. Yeah, we're leading into like discussion time. So if you guys have any theories or whatever, let me know. Thank you for letting me get all my thoughts out. So yeah, I think 4 got us back in because of like answering a lot of questions and showing what's going on outside of this world. 3, while the twin story with Tommy and Billy, aka Wiccan and Speed, being introduced, it felt very rushed. Obviously the pregnancy was fast, but the whole storylines that they go from in these episodes, like, it's very rushed. I'm not sure if they would benefit from going a longer route like Mandalorian, where it's a close to an hour episode, right? These are 30 minutes. I think the longest has been 40. I just feel like sometimes it's very fast, and it's so fast that it just leaves you with more confusion that you can't fully enjoy it, or like I'm questioning if I should like it or not, kind of thing. I talked about it on Discord with Pancake. She's asking if she should watch it. I'm like, I would only watch it if like you're really into the Marvel universe, the MCU. Because I don't know if this is a show I would just recommend to anybody. Be like, yeah, I'll go watch the show. Like, it's not like a Daredevil. It's not like a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way. I know that's a hit or miss show, but it's not like, not superhero related. It's not like, hey, you should watch The Office because The Office is a good show. Or you should watch Parks and Rec because it's entertaining. Like, it's not like that show I would actively go out of my way to be like, yeah, you should watch this. It's like, I don't know if I should recommend this to anybody or not. It's confusing. It's very niche, All right, so Papa Griff says, tell me about the drone. It looked one way when they sent it in, and when Wanda found it in the bushes, it looked different. Yeah, it looked very retro when they sent it out and boxy, and then it kind of modernized in there. I think they mentioned it in the photo when that woman reports it, because he asked, like, oh, why'd you colorize it? And he's like, no, I didn't. Or she says, I didn't. I think they mentioned the transformation. I don't know why it would have changed, to be honest, so I'm sorry I can't answer that question better. My guess is maybe it was another drone, because we do see a second drone going in later. So maybe it was another one? That would be my only guess. Let's see. Mrs. G says, she was not even used to being back in her life, then thrown right into another world, per se. Wanda? Or Monica? Oh, probably Monica. She was used to being back in her life and thrown right away. Yeah, she's been tossed around with being dust and then coming back and then, whoosh, going there. Monica. Okay, cool. All right, Jeff says, so SWORD, Sentient Weapon Observation Response Division. Vision was essentially a sentient weapon. Who in Westview was in witness protection, Dottie or Agnes? But witness what? Protection from who? What? The drone got turned into a toy helicopter. Okay, it's a toy helicopter. The radiation suit got turned into a beekeeper. Yeah, and I think that was just to fit in with the world. Not that radiation suits didn't exist, but that a beekeeper's outfit would fit more in the town than somebody walking around in a radiation suit. Let's see. The field is turning. The field is turning/transforming things into forms that are fit in the pre-established rules times illusion. But they don't turn back when they leave. Has anything left? Oh yeah, because Monica retains her appearance. But if Wanda didn't know about the drone, how could she translate it into a helicopter toy? I would guess the barrier. Because, like, anything that enters this will turn into this. Hence, like, Monica's changing. And the rope turned into a jump rope. Did you guys notice that? Like one of those old jump ropes? When it cut? Or was that just me? Let's see. I realize we move on, but they just announced number 1 and 2 are Orton and Edge. Oh, really? They announced that on Backstage? Okay. Interesting. Well, that's kind of, I don't know. I wish they wouldn't announce numbers. She's not controlling everything. It might be the barrier that changes it, like Jeff said. Like, it's this bubble. Maybe there's some rules, but maybe she didn't think of everything. Monica's in the rope attached to the red suit. If Wanda's doing this, and she seems to be doing it, why does she create a broadcast to draw attention to what she's doing? Why include the commercials? Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, why? They said, Kat Denning's character said there was a lot of radiation coming out of the area, and then obviously she realizes the radio signals or frequency along with the TV signal. That is a good question. Like, is that just an output that she didn't equate for? Because, yeah, you would assume she just wants to be alone. Like, she's escaping reality, kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know. This is a weird theory, but maybe as a kid, she saw shows like this and thought, when I'm grown up. This is how life is supposed to be, right? So maybe she's using this sitcom-y life as like a way to project her vision of what she wanted her future to be or her happiness to be. I don't know if that makes sense. You would think the commercials would break her suspension of disbelief, but maybe she doesn't see the commercials. I don't know. That is odd. My thoughts on Vision. He's still dead, for sure. The ones we're seeing is a creation of hers, but she made him too much like him. He knows what's going on. He even says, it's okay if it's time we leave Westview. Right, he did say that, and she said, no, this is our home. Yeah, that's another, like, his questioning of reality. Like, almost like you could let this go. But I don't know if he meant it that way. We could interpret it that way. Yeah, it's interesting. My overall theory, the twins are real, and it's all about them. It could have been conceived in Edinburgh during Infinity War. She found out she was pregnant, freaked out, scared to bring the kids into super messed up world on her own. I'm going to say negative on that. Well, okay. She got dusted. I was about to be like, bitch, no. It's been 5 years in between the two events. She get dusted. Okay. What? Okay. Nah. Accelerated growth from her kids' parents. Okay. Well, okay. If that's the case, then... Oof. Okay. Hold on. I gotta think about this. So you still think she went through a full pregnancy in the 3 weeks? There weren't any kids in the town prior. Right. Because everyone we've seen was either someone already in town or Vision. There's been weirder shit in Marvel. For sure. I don't know. There's the rumor, or at least I think it's, I don't know if it's House of M, but how the kids are the illusion. That's like a Mephisto tie-in, right? So maybe you use that to tie in Blade because they're doing a Blade movie. What was with the stork walking around? I think that was another... So her powers are going crazy all through labor, right? With like the paintings going around and pots and pans flying around. So I'm thinking maybe because of her pains and whatnot, with her losing some semblance of her powers or whatever. I thought that was just a manifestation of that. That was my only thought. Let's see. She made Vision so good. It's exactly like he was before he died. He's going to figure out she's keeping everyone captive intentionally or not and confront her about it. And then I'll make a compelling point if and when we get to that point, because it's going to be like, do I let this happiness go? Like, it's that internal struggle of the character. Like, do I wake up out of this reality, or do I keep being the villain and, do this thing? Gotcha. Appreciate that. So, I don't know. Obviously the show's doing something right, because we want to keep watching to figure out what the fuck's going on. So there's that. Yeah, good on them. Episode 4 was great. Hopefully, they can keep this momentum going through 5 through 8. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure if a longer runtime would benefit this stronger, just because to be able to explain more, especially leaving this episode. If we just go back to the sitcom-y world and it's like, oh, everything's fine, and we get something like the last 2 minutes, like, ugh, I don't know, it's just gonna make my brain hurt a whole lot more, type deal. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they tell their story from this point. Like, what information is Monica going to share? What's Kat going to discover? Yeah, I'm watching for Kat now. That was totally out of nowhere, like seeing her back since Dark World, which was ages ago. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm enjoying talking about this series with you guys. Next podcast we'll be talking about episodes 5 and 6. I'll probably do it as a separate topic recording discussion, just because I hope to get a guest next time, and we'll continue obviously to do it for 7 and 8. And the cool thing is too, like right after this is done, I think we have 1 week, and then it's Falcon and Winter Soldier, which hopefully makes a lot more sense than this show does, and it will. Dr. Darcy Lewis, thank you for that. Thank you. She went back to school and got her degree between Dark World and this. Yeah. And okay, this is another tie-in, but do you guys think she's coming back for Thor Power of... Was it Thor Power of Love, or whichever one that Natalie Portman's going to be back as Lady Thor? That'll be interesting if Kat Denning makes her Love and Thunder. Thank you, Power of Love. It'll be interesting to see if she reprises her role in that as well, or if this was just like a one-off type thing. Bring a scientist in, that matters. She said she wasn't asked in an interview. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, maybe this was just like your character would fit more in here. Like maybe they thought about also doing Skarsgård, but I don't know if he's retired in the world of Marvel as his Doctor role, or he's too messed up from Dark World or whatever, but meh. So yeah, there's WandaVision episode 3 and 4, guys. I appreciate you guys talking about it with me, talking theories and whatnot. But hopefully we'll continue this chat with episode 5 and 6 in a couple weeks.